tensions in politics, as I say, it's a competitive space. We're all competing for the same voter pool, so to speak. Now and again, there'll be that kind of jostling. As long as we all ensure that we do not escalate that into something else, because that this country cannot afford it. Yeah.
It's important to note that in the political game, you're always going to observe this kind of rivalries, because political parties are constantly in competition. And obviously, when the other party appears to be doing better, the other party has to get worried. The EFF was the third largest political party in terms of support, and that is what we have observed after 2 general elections in South Africa. The MK Party came in and they've taken the position of the EFF. That could be a worrying factor for the EFF.
Could political rivalry in South Africa be paving the way for violence between pro-black political parties? The EFF is rejecting these claims, but tensions with the MK Party are rising. In today's video, we'll break down the heated statements from Dali Mpofu and explore whether the EFF and MK Party can ever coexist. Stick around. This is a developing story you don't want to miss. Welcome to Inkari. It's time where we dig deep into South African politics and social justice. I'm Konos, and today we are focusing on the growing tensions between 2 of South Africa's most vocal political forces, the Economic Freedom Fighters and the newly formed MK Party. But what is behind this clash? And is it creating the kind of black-on-black violence that scarred the country in the 80s? Let's take a closer look. Dali Mpofu, a former chairperson of the EFF, recently made waves by warning about the potential for political rivalry to escalate into violence, invoking the painful history of black-on-black violence in South Africa during the 80s. In his remarks, Mpofu emphasized that MK Party members have been instructed not to react to provocations from other political groups, hinting at rising tensions. Meanwhile, Julius Malema, the EFF's commander-in-chief, has called the MK Party its immediate enemy, a bold declaration that has only fueled speculations about the future of these 2 movements. But is it as simple as that? Is the EFF truly setting the stage for violence?
As long as your immediate enemy that we are dealing with now is MKP, we don't want to see anything that has got to do with that.
Yeah. Maybe let me start with this one of hailing of insults, even though he covered it, the advocate, before you came in, but just for your interest. MK Party has positioned itself as a revolutionary, disciplined party, and a party that is driven by political content rather than theatrics, So we're not going to go into that space of people provoking the party or even its members for political grandstanding. So our point is that we have postured ourselves as a party that must provide alternative to our people. We are focused on the task of transforming South Africa and making South Africa a better place. So any other thing in that space, we are not coming. Assist.
Yes, I did explain this, Lunga. Look, as far as I'm concerned, well, fortunately, I don't know, I've not seen any insults directed at me, but any insult directed at anyone is the same as one directed at me. When I grew up in the struggle, we said an injury to one is an injury to all, So our position is very clear. It's in the Constitution. It's not even what we're articulating here is in the Constitution of the MK Party. Now, and that Constitution says you will not be attacking other political formations, even under provocation. So, in fact, the more you provoke us, the more quiet we're going to be. That's going to be the order of the day. The judge is not is not us. The church is the people of South Africa. When the people of South Africa go to the polls, they will decide whether they want to deal with those who are insulting or those who are insulted, as it were. Yeah. And you know, and that position, by the way, is not a position that is taken out of cowardice. Must make that very clear. It's not a position that is taken out of cowardice. It is a position that is taken out of political maturity. For 400 years, our people were defeated because they were divided. The enemy, since they arrived here in 1652, knew that the way to deal with the people of this country is to divide them. And for the past 400 years, that they've been doing that in various forms, either by fighting us in so-called tribal formations, up to more recently when they formed homelands, and the so-called black-on-black violence that I spoke about of the 80s. All those were forms of dividing our people to ensure our perpetual oppression. So we're not going to do that. It's hashtag Andizi, or MK says hashtag Andizi, to repeating the same mistakes of the past centuries. And as I say, those of us who witnessed some of these things, can remember right here where we are, where people were being butchered and killed. There are children, if you walk around here, who have no parents because of that. So we're not going to, we're not available for insults. We're available to be insulted, but not to dish out insults. All right.
The EFF has strongly denied the accusations that it's fomenting violence. Spokesperson Leanne Matthys clarified that party's declaration of the MK Party as its enemy does not translate to being against black people. In fact, she emphasized that the EFF opposes white supremacy, not white people themselves. However, the relationship between the MK Party and EFF has been strained ever since senior EFF leaders defected to Jacob Zuma's MK Party, including figures like former Deputy President Floyd Shivambu, Mzwane Lemanyi, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, and Advocate Dali Mpofu. Malema has publicly condemned these individuals as disloyal, further deepening the divide.
The MK Party would constantly recruit and what we would refer to as prominent members of the EFF to the MK Party. And when they do that, they make an announcement in order to show South Africans that the EFF appears to be the fertile ground for the MK Party to go and hunt. And that could be the reasons why the two parties appears to be rather at loggerheads. Another factor that we need to look at as well is that the departure of Floyd Shivambu from the EFF to the MK Party appears to have been a much bigger blow on the part of the EFF, and that is why they would actually now refer to the MK Party as their first or their main target as their enemy because of the rivalry that is informed by their historical political background.
The breakaway parties from the ANC MKP has shaken the political landscape of the country. In just 5 months after its formation, it managed to be the third largest political party in the National Assembly post the 2024 general elections. Cementing its position in the 7th Democratic Administration, the MKP became part of the Progressive Caucus after the formation of the Government of National Unity. This with an idea of uniting what it called the leftist parties. But a few months after the Progressive Caucus arrangement, Zuma's party ruffled feathers with one of its allies in the Progressive Caucus, which intended to hold the GNU pact accountable. To make things worse, recently some senior EFF members joined MKP. For many, this was seen as a direct attack by MK Party on the EFF, leading to the questions on how this will affect their relation. Taking none of it, EFF leader Julius Malema says Zuma's MK Party is the EFF's biggest and immediate enemy.
MKP, did it reach out to us and all of that? They've never reached out to us. But the majority of President Zuma, if there is anything like that for him, given the relationship we have, when some prominent leaders of the EFF were going to MK, he had a responsibility to give us a courtesy call. If he's really an elder, if he's really matured, if he's really a statesman who's got this relationship with us, whereas we're trying to build a progressive caucus that will unite black people, he had a duty to say, hey man, there is this thing that is going to happen. You must know that I have nothing to do with it. I can't choose for members, which is right. He can't choose for people whether they want to come or they don't want to come. But that courteous call, which he often made to me when on other matters, on this matter, he never cared to make that call. And that makes the relations to be strained, by the way. Because when you think you've got this kind of relationship with someone and you get treated like you are nothing, you also start behaving like you are nothing to them.
Political analyst Sanet Solomon from the University of South Africa weighed in on the matter, suggesting that Zuma seems to have a clear plan to unite all left-wing forces under the MK Party banner, which could make it increasingly difficult for the two parties to coexist. Solomon also predicted that if Zuma succeeds, we could see more defections from EFF to the MK Party in the coming years, with even ANC leaders potentially joining the movement. If that happens, the political landscape of South Africa could be fundamentally changed, creating a real challenge for the opposition parties like the DA. Now, let's circle back to Dali Mpofu's warning about black-on-black violence. Could this be an attempt to raise awareness, or is he using the issue to make a political point? Solomon argues that it might be politically motivated, questioning whether Mpofu's concern is truly about the well-being of South Africans or more about positioning himself within the shifting political tides.
Our members, and this is in our constitution, are enjoined by the constitution itself not to respond to any provocation, and in particular not to attack other progressive forces. If other people want to do that, that's fine. That is their decision. It's a free country. But we will not be falling into that trap. You know, where we are now here, those of us who are old enough to have been in this space in the 80s will know that this place we are in here was standing on the blood of people. That this particular area in KZN, thousands and thousands and thousands of our people died for nothing because of so-called political rivalry. So we shall never participate in fomenting that kind of history. And we will never regard any organization, let alone a progressive one, as our enemy. The word enemy is a very strong one. It's used only when you intend to do certain things in politics. There's a difference between opponents and rivals and enemies. So we do not take the position of calling any black person our enemy because they are our fellow oppressed people.
You must wear your beret, you must wear your t-shirt with pride, and don't be ashamed of your organization. Go and defend the organization in private and in public. Go and defend the organization on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp groups. Now we are going to the December holidays. Lo tsara di stock fele. Mo wa ba bolela ka EFF. O be kene fa so ya le nyaka nna mo. Ale ka thoma ka eo. You are looking for me. everywhere. Le kereke moruti a ka re rasle. Ha chaisha o batla mmatamelo re. Thero e ke kwa o ka re a enya ke EFF. A re tlo kwana le yona. EFF must be defended everywhere, especially on the social media. Baba MK bona ba le ska ba la ba dumella hore ba le telela. Le ba ANC ba ska le telela. Le ba DA ba ska le telela. Rena a re thomi motho. Mara o ka re thoma. O gotlile dinosi di tlo loma. O tsama o khotlana le dinosi. A di loma walla. Hey, batho ba re krele re kituletse. Re sna bothata re perekela mokgatlo wa rena. Ba re khotla yala ba tla re kriya. A re tlo ba tshaba. Re ba lata toe for toe. Re ba lata 99 everywhere. We are not scared of them. Do not be intimidated by the name MK. There's nothing MK about those people. There's nothing soldiers about those people. Do not be scared of them. I am not scared of them. I'm taking them for toe now, and I will do that until I'm satisfied that they are playing very far from this organization. Organization ye ke a bokukwa rena ba khwile ba itseba hore organization ye ke a bona. A re tlo dumela mokgatlo wa badimo le modimo o bolawa ke batho ba ba nyakang go destroya the African agenda. The black people's voice is in the EFF. A ona motho mongwe a ka bolelang batho ba bantsho except the EFF. So motho a ka ra bolela wa kwa o ka re language ya ona ina le bo MK ka mo o tsebo re tsotsishi. Those are the people we don't want amongst us. So people say, why would Malema declare MK as an enemy? Anyone who wants to kill the EFF is an enemy. I don't care whether you are black or white. As long as your agenda is to kill the EFF, you are the enemy. They say, oh, Malema says we must support Chidima, but we must not support Zuma. Chidima never wanted to kill EFF. Zuma wants to kill the EFF. That's why we must not support him. That is the difference. Anyone who recruits from amongst us, anyone who wants to kill this organization is the enemy of the people. Only the EFF can unite Africans in South Africa, in Africa, and in the diaspora. There is no any other organization that can destroy the EFF. EFF kiona ele1 yeto tlatang FNB Stadium sa pupuma sa Africans over United kaika remember United go FNB. That is a practical step of uniting our people. Today there is EFF Namibia, there is EFF Zimbabwe, there is EFF Kenya, there is EFF Nigeria, because the EFF has multiplied all over African continent. How do you say you want to unite Africans by destroying an organization that already exists beyond the borders of South Africa? That is a twisted logic. We must never fall into that trap. This organization has got regional offices, has got provincial offices, national office. It has got a solid machinery, highly grounded all over South Africa. The vote tja rena tja EFF a di Dali Mpofu fela, di tswa everywhere. Unlike ba kira di vote tja maZulu Natal fela, ba fetsa ba claim or no, they are a national party. They are IFP light. They are not a national organization. They exist and get their votes in KZN. We can organize a rally in KZN. They will never organize a rally in Malamulela. They will never organize a rally anywhere outside KZN because they are a regional party. How can a regional party destroy a national organization? Why do you allow a smaller Nyana organization of an old man to destroy the EFF? Let us not allow this old man to destroy the EFF. That old man, we defeated him before. We brought him here in this constitutional court and we said pay back the money, and he paid back the money. He hasn't forgiven us for that.
As tensions rise between the MK Party and the EFF, it raises an important question. Can these two political forces ever find common ground? Or are they doomed to be adversaries for years to come? Only time will tell, but the implications for South Africa's political future are enormous. What do you think? What's your take on this? Is Dali Mpofu's warning valid? Or is this just another chapter in the political rivalry between the EFF and the MK Party? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinions. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Inkahari. It's time for more updates on this and other major political stories affecting South Africa. Thanks for watching Inkahari. It's time. Stay tuned for more coverage. And until next time, keep fighting for justice and take care.